is your financial expert and master mindset coach, Janae Cordy.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today's podcast is about human perception and mental models and how each human's unique perception impacts much of that person's reasoning and decision making, which ultimately contributes heavily to the results an individual achieves in life. This can otherwise be looked at as impacting the propensity toward reaching a certain level of success or achievement toward your goals. To me, perception is largely a person's mindset or overarching attitude, whether that be good or bad, positive or negative. Sometimes perception or attitude or mindset, however you want to label it, can often be the only difference between whether someone makes it or reaches their intentions they've set for themselves or whether they don't, right? I know we've all met the difference between someone with a positive, optimistic, can-do attitude and someone with a more negative, pessimistic, woe is me attitude, right? So think of these two types of people you know in your life and do a little comparison analysis. Who do you think is going to get farther toward reaching their goals out of the two? Do you think it's going to be the person who views obstacles as mere challenges to overcome on their journey to success, whatever that looks like to them? Because remember, we are all going to have different versions of what success looks like to us if we are properly setting our goals and intentions and not comparing ourselves to others. And if you need help with that, listen to the first 3 podcasts, Rake the Rut, Panning for Golden Thoughts, and Goal Digging. Those will help you. But who do you really think is going to get further toward their own individual version of success and toward reaching their goals? The can-do attitude perception or the can't-do attitude perception? Because the world is out to get me attitude. Which do you honestly, genuinely think? I put all my money down on the first perception type to win the race, the one with the positive perception of life. That's who I'm betting on regardless of any other circumstances. So how about you? Which horse are you putting your bets on? Because I'm throwing down on the positive attitude perception, even if it is the so-called underdog or dark horse. Because we all know the words to that song, right? Katy Perry's Dark Horse. So you want to play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for. Baby, do you dare to do this? Because I'm coming at you like a dark horse. So who do you want to be in this marathon called life? Which horse do you want to be? I'm going to choose to come at you like the magical dark horse with the right attitude on. And don't forget to wear that attitude proudly. Wear it like a boss, a gangster. Wear it like a crown, a gangster hat, a bow, whatever your preference, ladies and gents. Wear it proud and don't let just any other person who hasn't earned the right and privilege to ever see your gleaming crown or cute little bold boss bow or Lucky Luciano gangster hat drop. Hopefully you have your peeps you can let your guard down to and have bad days or moments with, but always strive to keep your attitude on point when you are in boss, make it happen, beast mode. Because the exciting and amazing part of it is, you get to choose. You always get that. So let's dive into this thing to help you choose wisely. So there is much theory on perception, which has evolved over time and has been expanded on by many researchers and psychologists through the years. And some of the big players are out there that you can look into are Kenneth Craik, Philip Johnson Laird, and Ruth M.J. Byrne. What I'm going to be discussing today is mainly centered on the research surrounding mental models, which theoretically make up our individual perception in life. So the mental models are theorized by the experts out there to possess the following characteristics. Number 1, they are based on uncertain or concealed data. A person's mental model is typically based on uncertain or concealed data. Or in other words, the data which the mental model is founded upon is immeasurable in scientific terms and is often complex. Number 2, it is changeable. A person's mental model is changeable from positive to negative. So this is what we've already discussed in terms of it being an individual's choice to adopt a positive mindset or to succumb to the doom and gloom, negative, downer energy. And obviously, nobody is going to be 100 positive 100% of the time. So please don't get that twisted. It is okay to have balance and negative moments or even negative days when you are about to go medieval on your surroundings, if you know what I'm saying. That is a normal part of being a living, breathing human being, and no one is perfect, and no one can really sustain absolute positivity every waking second of the day without probably eventually just snapping or literally losing their mind. So don't ever expect perfection from yourself. Just be aware of how you are feeling and perceiving things around you. And if you catch yourself being overly hating on or judging yourself or others, for example, out of maybe frustration, or you notice you're starting to feel down in your spirits and too gloomy, just consciously make the decision to flip your mindset. Remember, thoughts create emotions, which then create your actions and ultimately your results or your performance. So let your emotions be your guide. And if you start feeling super negative emotions or you find yourself in negative vibe emotions for too long, check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? In these situations, trace those emotions back to the triggering thought or thoughts and change those thoughts. Yeah, you have that power. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? So number 3, we use an information filter. Okay, so number 3 is a tricky one. Each of our mental models has a built-in information filter. And what this means is that you are automatically filtering information you are receiving through preconceived notions based on things like your prior experience, existing knowledge, education, culture, upbringing, your current beliefs or your past beliefs, possible religious factors, etc. Because of this existence, something can happen called selective perception. So I'm just going to read the wonderful Wikipedia definition to describe what this terminology means. Selective perception is the tendency not to notice and more quickly forget stimuli that cause emotional discomfort and contradict our prior beliefs. So the example this website provides is the example of a teacher who may have a favorite student because they are biased by in-group favoritism. So because of this inherent bias, the teacher then ignores the student's poor performance. On the flip side, the same teacher might not even notice the positive progress of their least favorite student because of the internal bias there. Because we all inherently come equipped with our biases that we are filtering communication and information through. So we all need to be careful of accidental discrimination towards others or unfair judgment of a person or circumstance because of our own natural biases that we are probably not even all that aware of because they are so pre-programmed in our brains. Number 4, limited scope. Another aspect of the mental model is that it can have a limited scope based on the individual perspective of the person. This is a great big old world, which makes it quite challenging to take into account all of the dynamics of all the events and people going on in, the planet Earth and the galaxy beyond. So we just need to be aware that it's a great big world that exists, and our perspective is often limited in scope to our own, in comparison, often small world. Number 5, the perceiver is unique. So this is the last trait of the mental model, and that is that this model consists of the use of unique information, many times only available to the perceiver, and this information is readily available and usable to each individual. I would say this is where things like your own intuition or inner guidance can come into play. At least that's how I would interpret this last part of the mental model. You are ultimately the only one who understands and knows the inner workings of your own self, right? This is also why it is so important, in my opinion, to only listen to yourself when it comes down to it. It's okay and wonderful to get outside advice or counsel, but outsiders ultimately do not know your inner workings or uniqueness. You do, so trust it. So now that we understand the standard qualities of the mental model, you can now use this information to your advantage to go out and get what you want in this life and not let yourself or your own mindset become your own worst enemy, right? Remember, knowledge is power. So understanding what actually makes up your mindset and this beautiful and brilliant thing we call the human brain can absolutely help you make the best decisions to reach your goals. If you understand that your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions are based on your own unique perception, which has some qualities that can be limiting and, well, downright distorting sometimes, this will help you to hopefully come at a situation or challenge with more of an open mind that you maybe don't always have all the answers, right? As much as we all love to be right and don't be denying it, most people definitely prefer to be right the majority of the time. I know I prefer this, and I will be the first to admit it, okay? So, however, the mere way that the mindset or mental model is structured kind of makes that rather impossible if you really think about it. The way the mental model or individual mindset is structured pretty much guarantees us that we are going to get it wrong sometimes. And that's perfectly okay. That's a human thing. So it's important to be aware of this to help you listen. Really listen. Not listen just to respond with your own mental model, but listen to truly understand. This also makes it even more important to listen from within, often in stillness with a clear mind, instead of just to all these churning thoughts and associated emotions running sometimes on straight cuckoo bird rampage mode all day long, right? So remember, you always have the option to believe a thought or to not believe a thought. And just because a thought comes into your head doesn't mean you have to believe it or act on it anyway. It's okay to dismiss it and or substitute it with a new thought that serves you better. You are not your thoughts. When you are changing your mindset, you will most likely be dismissing and replacing thoughts left and right. At least you really need to be if you are changing up your mindset to better serve you and catapult you toward a desired direction or vision which you strive to reach. Scientists believe we have up to 50,000 thoughts per day, so don't get hung up on any thoughts that don't serve you. You are ultimately not your thoughts. Your brain works for you, not the other way around. So get out there and train the brain to get you where you want to go in life and make it happen. Military veteran and famous American novelist Tom Robbins has this message for us in the form of a famous quote. One has not only an ability to perceive the world, but an ability to alter one's perception of it. More simply, one can change things by the manner in which one looks at them. Yup, I 100% agree. So please subscribe and rate. I so appreciate the support of each one of you as always. And you can find my blog and services on mindyourmoneycoach.com as well. Have an amazingly positive week and keep it real until next time.
Mind your